All right, Roman. So I think you are done with modifying this bar chart. It's very simple. So last time I told you the advantage of having this command line and history, right? So in that, so one of the student told me that when we are opening the Minitab, we can't find these two windows here. So in case of that kind of thing, you have to click the view and you just have to click this one, command line and history, right? So let me see. So in here, you have to click that command line and history one. Then you will see that window in the right hand side of your desktop. Desktop for the laptop, right? Okay, so let me see. So in let's say after you modify this graph, accidentally you did accidentally you delete that bar chart, right? Let's say so I delete that bar, right? This is the previous one. Okay, so now how can we get that? So we can use the history here. So because under history window, everything we do recorded here. So in that case, we just have to copy this one and paste in the command line and click run, right? See, we don't want to again go to the graph and select the box plot and uh, input those variables, and we don't want to worry about those things. We just have to go to history and click on the last two rows or the last command you did, and then you have to paste that in the command line and then click run, right? Then you will have the same output. You don't need to worry about those things. If you accidentally delete that kind of thing, you can obtain that plot or anything you want uh, using this command line, right? I think you clear the usage of this command line and history here, right? So let's say so next we go to the next part. Don't worry. So I will share. I think you don't have this tutorial with you, right? I think so in last week I modified this one. So this is not the same. I think this is not the same thing you have. So after the today's lecture, I'll upload this one with the practical videos, right? Then you can observe the video again and prepare a small Word document, right? Okay. So we are done with part 3, and now the part 4. Draw a pie chart for the variable race. What percent of mothers were white, right? Draw a pie chart for the variable race, and what percent of mothers were white, right? You see in the under the race, we have 1, 2, 3 categories, right? The first one white, second one black, 3, right? So let's see how to draw a pie chart using Minitab, right? Okay. So I think that now you can see my screen here, right? You have to uh, draw a pie chart for the variable race, right? Okay, so you have to go to the graph, select the pie chart, and once you click on this one, you will see all the variables here, right? So under this one, we have to select the race. So you can just single click on the race and then click select. Otherwise, you can double click on that one, then automatically add to this one, right? Okay. So here, then you can use these options to modify your graph actually, right? Otherwise, you just have to simply click OK. So it will give the graph you want, and then double click on it. Then you will see the edit graph window, and here you can do whatever you want, right? So the question was, what the question was, so they were asking about first draw a pie chart for the variable race, and then what percent of mothers were white, right? So here, uh, I think you see my screen, right? Can you see the pie chart here?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So you have the pie chart, but where is the percentages? Right? In that case, you have to modify it, right? So once you keep your mouse pointer on the uh, pie, you will see the values, right? So you will see here the 15.8% for the one category. One means white, two means black, and three are the others, right? So you will see here when you keep your mouse pointer on that blue pie. But it is better if we can add those values permanently. So that is why we have the edit function here, all those edit functions. So can you try? Please try to add those things. I will also try. So you can also try the same time, right? Okay. Please try. Let me see what can I do. So about you, did you get the frequencies? Can someone answer or type in the chat? Doesn't matter. Okay, so it's very simple. So you have to just click on any pie you want. You just have to click on add in slice labels. So you can input category name, frequencies, percent. So the percent you want here is why I have ticked here and click OK. Right. So and then you can, so instead of just having 1, 2, 3, I think it's better we can input the proper names here, right? So can you try that one also? Try adding 1 instead of 1, white instead of 2, black instead of 3, other, right? So first you have to click this key here, then click on 1. So instead of 1, or we can keep 1 or anything you want. So it's up to you. Type 1. And so here again click on 2. Sorry. So now I have already input the category names here. So the classes here. So we have three classes, 1, 2, 3. So now it's meaningful, right? Sometimes we may forget what is one mean, but now we can, okay, one means white, two means black, three means other, right? One. So once, so now in that stage, sometimes you won't get the proper significance of doing those things. But when you become seniors, you will see when you prepare reports, when you preparing presentation slides, so you will see the significance of doing those things, right? That is why in the first years, so at the foundation, we are going to teach you those simple things, right? But actually, it is not simple. They are very significant, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you how to add percentages here, right? Just first you have to click on this edit. Uh, so in here you have to click on this one first, right? Right click on, double click this, right? Then you will see the edit graph window. Then you have to click on any file and right click. So then you have to select add slice labels. In that case, you can add whatever you want. Category name, frequency is present. So in this case, we want present. And also in this case, I add category name also. And after that, click OK. Then you will see the percentage, right? I think you all clear. So if you have any questions before I'm going to the next part, you can ask, right? After doing all those modifications, you can click OK. So you can change the colors also, right? Sometimes if you are following a specific theme or specific colors, instead of these by default colors, you can change any colors you want, right? Especially when you are preparing notes, sorry, preparing reports. Sometimes you may uh, follow a specific color theme. So in that case, you can change colors also here, right? So after doing all those modifications, you just have to click OK. Then you will see those modifications in this graph also, right? Okay. All right, Lamai, so I'm going to get to the next part, right? Okay, so part 4 is finished. Part 5, examine the distribution of age graphically using stem and leaf plot, right? So you know what is stem and leaf plot, right? So in the lecture, I think Madam have already told you what is the stem and leaf, right? So you know in a tree, right? So in a tree, we have some kind of a big, say, so first you have some kind of a big and big branch, right? So when after the end of this big branch, you will have, right, small branches, right? You'll see, right? That is how the stem and leaf plot created. So in this one, we are calling the stem, right? This one we call the leaves, right? So in leaf, or yeah, it's a leaf, right? I represent this in green color. Represent it as a leaf, right? Okay, that is how this stem and leaf plot created, right? Using that technique. So let's see how we can create stem and leaf plot using Minitab. So we want to create a stem and leaf plot for the age way, right? Let's see what we can do. Again, I'm going to open the Minitab, right? So the variable age is here. So we have to get a stem and leaf plot. And you know stem and leaf plot for what variable am I? For categorical one or continuous one? Yeah, continuous. Thank you. So we have to select graph here, then yeah, stem and leaf. Right. So in here, you can select the variable you want. Right. So here I'm going to the age variable. Okay. So in that case, so there is another variable called by variable. So I'll come to that one later. Right. So just we have to just click the age variable. So it's a continuous. It should be a continuous one, and then click. Right. We'll see what happened. So uh, these are the leaves and these are the stems, right? Stem and leaf plot. So since we have a huge number of observations here, somewhat not very descriptive, right? But for the question, I'm going to draw that one with you, right? Let's see. Okay, so you can see it in the full screen. So in the status bar, you have three options. I told you last week. So once you click that one, you can see both the data sheet and also this session window. And once you click this one, you will see the data set, data window. And once you click this one, you will see the session window, right? This is how you want to create the stem and leaf plot. So can you all try? I'll give you a 1 minute. Please try. So after putting this one, we have to identify the distribution of these variables, right? What is your idea? I think Madam have already told you about the distributions, right? So I think you can see this in first. This one is better. So in this case, you can see the whole stem and leaf plot here. So can you tell me the distribution? Can you suggest me? Actually, this is not the proper. This is not the accurate way uh, of to determine the distribution. But in since we are in the descriptive stages, we have to determine the distribution using descriptive statistics, right? So stem and leaf plot is one way. So in here you can see the tail. Tail goes to the downside, right? That means the right side. And most of the observations are gathered into the upper part. That means the left, right? So in that kind of situations, we are calling this as a positively skewed distribution, right? Don't worry about those words, right? So if Madam didn't go through those theory parts yet, she will definitely cover those things, right? If not, you can find any information using the Google, right? Search for the positively skewed distributions, and will show you the pictures and other informations, right? Mm, okay, so before I'm going to share another screen, please look at this one properly. Then I can draw that in the another screen, right? So please look at this. Look at this stem and leaf plot roughly, right? Now I'm going to draw this one. Okay, so right, so I think you can understand, right? So you can see here. So the most of the data are gathered in the upper part, that means the left hand side, and the tail is goes toward the down, right? That means the left side. So in that case, we call it as a left skew distribution. So there are some other types also, right? You know, I think those things, right? Let me draw it. This here. There are another two types, right? So if if all the data are gathered symmetrically, we call it as a symmetric distribution, right? If the data are gathered into the this side, so the left side, we call it as a negatively skewed distribution, right? You see the difference in here. I think, can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please, don't consider about my writings, right? I'm using the mouse, right? So please understand the difference between these three drawings, right? So here, this one is symmetric, so we call this as a symmetric distribution. So in that case, we call this in the negatively skewed, right? Because the tail is going on the going towards the left side, right? So in here, so you have to rotate, rotate and think, right? Then you will see the rotate in anti-clockwise, right? Anti-clockwise, I think. Right, once you rotate this in anti-clockwise, you will see the difference here. So in this case, most of the data gathered in right side. Therefore, we call it as a negative risk. In this case, most of the data gathered in left side. Therefore, we call this positively skewed, right? I think you already know this one, right? If not, please don't hesitate. Madam will continue. Madam will teach you those things in the coming lectures, right? So can anyone confirm that the madam have madam have already taught these things to you or not? Right, right. Then madam have told it, right? Then it's fine. Not. So can you confirm me properly? Yes or no? One students say that no, but others have said that yes. So, however, right, right, right. So don't worry. So actually today, madam have to do the lectures, right? Then the following day, I have to do the practical sessions part for the inconvenience occur. I have to do the practical sessions today, but don't worry, right? Okay, don't worry. Madam will tell you everything about this theme and leaf plot, right? So don't worry, don't worry. Right, for now, after your madam completing this series, you can again go through this the video and you can do the same thing using the Minitab, right? Okay. So the answer. So examine the age of this. Uh, so the part 5, right? Examine the age of the examine the distribution of the age graphically using stem and leaf plot. So you have to examine the age and try to identify approximately, right? These are not the proper way. right? We have so many ways, right? This is just a primitive way. So in that case, we identify it as positively skewed distribution, right? From the stem. So the next, the part six, from the stem plot, what is the age of the oldest mother, right? Okay, so I will come to the Minitab window again, right? Can you see the screen? Right, so here we have the stem and we have the leaves, right? As I told you, this is the big branch, right? The biggest. So this, can you see? Can you confirm you can see the screen, please? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the stem, right? So it is highlighted in light blue color, and this is the leaves, right? So how do we read those observations? Using, we have to incorporate both stem and leaf to read the stem and leaf plot. Actually, stem and leaf plot is not a new thing, right? In grade 7, 9, 8, 9, we are studying those things, right? So how do we tell the first? Uh, so you can see. So these are not the. Let me see. You have the age variable here. Let's. I think I told you how to sort the data last week, right? I think remember that one. So in that case, we have to do the same thing again. Sorry. So I think we have to do the same thing again. Right? Can you all hear me, right? Okay, you can hear me, right? So you have to select the age here, right? So see, let's say I just want to sort only the age variable, right? So I use here. Let's see. Mm, so I want to I storage location for the column. I want the variables in the same location, right? So that's why I select the original columns here and click OK. Let's see what will happen. Mm, right, right. Did you see that? So first, yeah, our age in different locations, but now it's sorted, right? Did you see the lowest age? 14. Now, how can you identify the lowest stage from the stem and leaf plot? Right, look at this one. I told you that before reading an observation, you need to incorporate both stem and leaf. You see the first observation 40. Do you see first number determined by the stem 1 and the second number determined by the leaf 4, right? That is how we're going to identify the first value of the age, the lowest value of the age. It is 40, right? You can see in the data set also we have 314 age mothers, right? So in that case, in the stem and leaf plot also we have 3 fours. That means 3 observations which have the same value, each 40, right? I think now you got how to read those observations. If you have any questions, please ask me, right? Or else you can ask me on the chat also. So if you don't have any questions, please type no. I just want to confirm that you got you got how to read the observations by incorporating both stems and leaves. Am I clear to you all?